Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to conduct a rigorous, entirely serious academic examination of, well, a figure of absolutely unparalleled power. Someone who literally reshaped the landscape of modern digital history. Yep, we're talking about the internet's ultimate apex predator, Chuck Norris. We're tracking his wild evolution from a serious 1990s TV action star straight into becoming an undisputed meme legend. And look, why does this actually matter? Because figuring out this one specific meme gives us the actual blueprint for how viral internet culture was built. It's kind of the foundation for how we all communicate online today.
Chuck Norris doesn't sleep. He waits. Just let the absolute sheer gravity of that sentence sink in for a second. It's not just a joke, right? It's the statement of just hyperbolic perfection. When we look at the source material analyzing this whole phenomenon, they highlight this exact quote as the quintessential hook. It just instantly grabs you with how completely absurd it is.
And then there's this one. Gravity works because Chuck Norris allows it. Notice how that takes it a step further. It builds on that ridiculous, limitless power we were just talking about. It literally elevates a regular human actor into this cosmic force of nature. But how did we actually get here? How in the world did a real, living person become the internet's ultimate punchline for omnipotence? Well, to answer that, we've got to transition from just laughing at these quotes to actually decoding their origin story. Section 1. The birth of Chuck Norris Facts. All right, let's dive into the timeline here. Back in the 1990s, Chuck Norris was known to everyone as this super serious, tough-as-nails action star, mostly from the hit TV show Walker, Texas Ranger. He was the ultimate earnest tough guy. But then, fast forward to 2005, and this massive cultural shift happens. The early internet was this hub of cynical, ironic web culture, and it just collided head-on with his totally serious 90s persona. A website called Chuck Norris Facts launched, and it created this perfect storm of nostalgia and absurdity that hooked early internet users immediately. But the craziest part is really the present day. The sustained nostalgic longevity of this thing. Most internet trends, they vanish in a few weeks, but this meme has survived for decades, constantly coming back because the contrast between the actual man and the myth is just too good to let go. Seriously. Just imagine trying to make something go viral back then without an algorithm pushing it into millions of feeds. How did they even do it? Well, our source notes that this early viral spread actually required manual work, like real effort. It happened on clunky online forums, through massive email chains forwarded from person to person, and in the super early Wild West days of social media. The internet took Norris's very real, serious image and just smashed it together with completely boundless, absurd imagination. People were actively competing with each other to come up with newer, wilder variations, and so the number of these facts just grew infinitely through sheer grassroots participation. Section 2. Spreading without geographic borders. This is really where the meme stops being just a funny joke and transforms into a prime example of a brand new era in global communication. Think about pre-internet humor for a second. In the era before social media, pop culture spread so slowly. You relied on TV schedules, printed magazines, or literally chatting with coworkers around a water cooler. It was intensely local. Now compare that to post-2005 internet humor. Suddenly, the internet allowed this collective joke to just leap across countries, languages, and cultures in an instant. It completely rewrote the rules of how a joke actually travels. So the crucial takeaway here is that, yeah, the Chuck Norris meme started in the United States. It was based on an American TV show, after all. But it absolutely did not stay there. It rapidly shattered geographic and language barriers. As the source material points out, it became one of the very first true examples of online communities coming together to create a shared global symbol. You had a kid in Jakarta and a teenager in Chicago suddenly laughing at the exact same hyper-niche joke. This wasn't just a meme anymore. It was a proof of concept for the internet's power to create a unified, global consciousness practically overnight. But what happens when a global satirical movement finally reaches the actual guy they're joking about? Section 3. The legend's positive response. Honestly, you would totally expect a tough guy action star to start throwing around cease and desist letters to protect his super serious brand. Back in 2005, celebrities rarely got to internet culture. Their first instinct was almost always to fight it. But interestingly enough, Chuck Norris wasn't angry at all. In fact, in interviews, he openly admitted that he found the jokes highly entertaining.
He completely embraced the hyperbolic humor. And honestly, leaning into the joke like that was an absolute masterstroke in public relations.
Let's break down exactly how he handled this. Step 1. He reacted with a totally relaxed attitude. He showed the entire world he was in on the joke. Step 2. He partnered with major brands. The source details how he actually monetized the meme, doing things like working with a massive tech company, specifically for World of Warcraft, to star in digital promos using his omnipotent meme persona. And step 3. He solidified his position as a digital legend. By choosing not to fight the internet, he basically reclaimed the narrative and cemented his legacy online in a way that very, very few traditional stars ever pull off.
Section 4. Hidden meaning behind the joke.
Because, this whole phenomenon isn't really just about entertainment. It's actually a super fascinating reflection of digital sociology. The source material defines this entire movement as a form of masculinity satire. Essentially, it's a comedic deconstruction, a critique of the perfect hero and all those macho tropes that Hollywood films had spent decades building up. The movie industry kept feeding audiences these flawless, invincible tough guys. So the internet responded by taking those exact tropes and blowing them up to such absurd, literally godlike proportions that the whole concept just collapses into pure comedy.
And crucially, this became a really playful way for society to simultaneously celebrate and critique that cinematic macho persona. I mean, we liked the action movies, for sure, but by giving Chuck Norris the ability to, say, bend the laws of gravity, society was indirectly poking fun at how completely unrealistic Hollywood standards for heroes actually were. It was basically the internet winking at the screen. We were saying, hey, we see the formula, we get it, and now we're taking control of it. Which brings us to a final, kind of provocative thought to chew on. We've just seen how a single, simple website in 2005 united the early internet around one incredibly absurd idea. But look at the internet today. It is so heavily fragmented. It's driven by these highly personalized, super isolated algorithms. So the question is, could we ever create a unified global symbol like Chuck Norris again? Or was this just a once-in-a-lifetime moment where the whole world logged on and collectively agreed that one man doesn't sleep, he just waits?